Okay. Last wish, here you go.
All right, cheers.
Last wait.
All right.
So convenient.
Oh shit, okay, let's start over. I'm so nervous. We should have given our audience spoiler alerts earlier. So there will be spoilers, okay? Hey everyone, welcome to our show. This is Neon City Films episode on Fargo. I'm Goose.
And I'm Rich.
Today, we just wanted to talk about a movie that we both love, that we both think is, it's a universally loved film.
Both us and the general public, I think, should enjoy this one.
Yeah, so Fargo, for those of you who haven't watched it, this movie was released in 1996. Rich, what were you doing in 1996?
Goofing.
I was 8 years old,
Okay.
so I did not watch this movie when it came out.
Right I didn't watch it either, yeah.
I was probably later teens when I first came across HBO, Fargo, and I fell in love with it immediately, even though I didn't understand some of the concepts at the time. Again, I was only like 15 at the time, but I've watched this movie so many times.
Really?
Since. Yeah.
Okay. My first take would be, I think this movie is so uniquely Americana. It's a lot like The Big Lebowski, but as kind of the other side of the spectrum. But I think it is best enjoyed knowing the American culture.
Yes, and it's got a very Minnesota nice feel about it. In fact, that's the aesthetic that the Coen brothers were going for. And it's apt that you compared it to Big Lebowski because that's another Coen brothers film, which we might do one day. But today we want to talk about Fargo in its entirety. The movie came out March 6th, March 8th, 1996. Directors Joel and Ethan Coen. Cinematographer, the legendary Roger Deakins, who has been the cinematographer for so many films, for some of the greatest films ever made. But he's a big-time collaborator with the Coen brothers. So he has made many of the Coen brothers films together. What was going on in 1996? Let's take a look. So, the Billboard 100 number one song at the time. Now R&B was king at this time, but the number one song. Who do you think the artist was?
Oh, boy, I don't even know. Jay-Z.
I don't.
Jay-Z maybe a little later.
Jay-Z might have been a little bit later. But,
NSYNC's also that's also too early.
Just a little bit later.
Okay.
Now, right now, in March of 1996, it was "One Sweet Day" by Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men.
Okay.
So that was the number one song at the time. Bill Clinton was president, hadn't been impeached yet.
Okay.
The 100th modern Olympics were about to happen in Atlanta a couple months later. The Birdcage, starring Robin Williams, was dominating at the box office at the time. So that was the number one film at the box office when Fargo came out. And we were still 2 years away from Google being founded. So no Google.
Yeah. It does feel more quaint than this, actually. The movie feels older, like the scene, than 1996.
It is based in the 80s. So
okay,
remember,
good observation. Okay, yeah.
It says right at the beginning, it's based
you're
in
right.
like
Yeah,
86.
it's a true story. Yeah.
Which I'll get to the whole idea of this being a true story later.
Oh, yeah.
Because that lore is kind of interesting.
Okay.
And then the budget for this movie was $7 million. And it made $60.5 million at the box office. So
good, very successful.
It was not only a financial success, but it was a critical success. Immediately. We're talking about multiple Oscar wins for various categories. I think it had 6 nominations. Frances McDormand won the Oscar for Best Actress. Was her first Best Actress win.
Okay.
She's won 4 Oscars, and this was her first for Best Actress. Okay. But her first Oscar was actually for Mississippi Rising for supporting Best Actress.
Okay.
So, now overall, this movie it sends chills down my spine.
You love it.
I love it. It's classic Coen black comedy. It's violence and comedy perfectly mixed together.
Okay. I have a hot take on this.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I think objectively this is an amazing movie. I think craftsmanship, from music to editing to cinematography to plot, this is probably one of the better movies I've ever seen. However, I absolutely hate watching this movie. Okay, so this might be my own psychology. I hate movies where people ruin their lives. You know, where you see actively people making decisions that like ruin not just their lives, but like pretty much anybody that Jerry, our main character, played by
William H. Macy, who, by the way, I love William H. Macy, but I cannot believe when I was doing research for this movie, I assumed he had awards up the wazoo, but this is the only nomination for the Oscars for William H. Macy.
Ever?
Ever.
Until today?
Until today. He's never won an Oscar, and this was his only nomination, which I think is insanity. Yeah. But yes, the Coen brothers, they love writing really flawed characters, especially incompetent criminals, like criminals who don't really know what they're doing. And Jerry Lundegaard is the perfect example of the most just incompetent criminal you could think of.
And talking about Jerry, I love the fact that it opens with him at the bar with...
We got Steve Buscemi, who plays Karl, and we got Peter Stormare, who plays Geir. I don't know how to... His name? His name's Geir Grimsund or something like that.
They're at the bar, and I love that it opens with him being in trouble and you don't know why. Right? He's like, hey, I'm in a little bit of trouble here. And they're like, why, Jerry? He's like, that's not important. You know, don't bother. You know? I love that. I love that you just thrown into the story. And throughout the movie, you actually don't even know what his problem is. You have no idea why he needs the money.
Yes.
You don't know why he needs fast. You don't know really what his plan was to begin with. I think it's a unique kind of selling point versus a movie like Drive. Okay, where you have a clear stake laid out. You need X, this is what you do to get it. In this movie, you start in the bar and you have no idea why he's doing what he's doing.
Right, so it's clear from the get-go that Jerry needs money.
Yeah, but more we don't know.
And it becomes a little clearer throughout the film. I did a little bit of research on this, and it has to do with Jerry took out loans against cars that do not exist on his lot because he is financing something personal habits. I don't know. Maybe he's a drug addict.
The lot situation. It could be the lot, the one he wants to purchase.
So apparently the whole lot plot line was to get out of this like debt that he's in because he has sent fake VIN numbers to GMAC, who is the financing company for the car industry in this film. I'm not sure if they're a real life organization, but either way, they're a financing company. He sends these fake VIN numbers. He ends up in a big hole of money. Now, what I think is interesting, first, the movie's called Fargo, and yet we only really see one scene in Fargo, and that's at the very beginning.
Yes,
that's at the bar scene when he meets up with the two criminals. He goes to Fargo, North Dakota, but most of the movie, the majority of the movie takes place in Minneapolis and Brainerd, Minnesota, which is, I did a Google Maps, it's about a 3.5-hour drive. So it's like going from here to LA, basically. But the movie's called Fargo, despite only one scene being in there.
Why?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it has a ring to it.
I think it has a ring to it.
But not as good.
I mean, Twin Cities wouldn't have been a cool name. Brainerd, not a cool name. But Fargo, there's something about it. And I think the Coen brothers were onto something with that.
Talking more about old Jerry and why I don't like watching this movie, right? So you see him, pretty much any scene in this movie I want to skip because it's just so awkward. Like he sets up in the beginning and he sets out the terms. I'm like, oh God, I can't watch this. What's going on? And then when he's talking to the guy to the loaner on the phone with the VIN numbers, you know, and like again, Jerry is just going down that rabbit hole further and further. There's so many scenes that just kind of make your skin crawl in a way.
Of course.
In a good way. I love that scene when Margie meets her old school buddy
Mike Yanagita.
And that scene, you're like,
hi, I'm Mike Yanagita.
you just get the itch of that scene, you know.
There on many of my rewatches, I skip that scene.
Oh, okay, so you do skip scenes. I'm not alone then.
No, it's just because. Yes, it makes my skin crawl with cringe, but also it does nothing for the plot.
Uniquely, it's completely isolated. Absolutely, I know what you mean. And then it concludes and it has nothing. Margie doesn't change anything about herself. It doesn't. But then I think it fits though. I think actually this idea of stuff doesn't bring the plot forward doesn't bother me so much, and more so it's kind of awkward to watch.
Right, but that's why I'm okay skipping it, because even though it's an interesting like scope into whatever culture this is, it's also it was unneeded in the movie. But other people might disagree with me. Yeah. So if you do disagree, you can put it down in the comments.
To debate you. Not gonna debate you, okay, Goose?
No, we're not debating. It's just really it's a really funny scene in some ways, but it's really tragic in other ways. The Mike Yanagita scene.
Yes, it is. Yeah, this guy is so desperate. Yeah.
Now, just to get back to the story for a second, this whole idea of the true story taking place in 1987 is when the story takes place. Movie came out in 96, but the actual events supposedly took place in 1987. Okay. Now, you get this title screen at the very beginning that says this film is based on true events, and it goes on telling in honor of the victims. The names have been changed, but the events have stayed the same.
Yeah, fun.
Now, the Coen brothers have, when the movie first came out, and for years, they claimed that this was inspired by a crime that took place in the 60s or 70s. But eventually, one of the Coen brothers, I think it was Joel Coen, who had said on an interview, because people kept asking him about this supposed crime, he said, "We made it up."
Yeah.
And we put the title sequence on there, that card at the very beginning, just because it's an interesting story facet.
Yeah, and there's no trademark to being able to put a true story. I think too many people take this too literal.
Yes.
There's movies such as Catch Me If You Can that are supposedly on a true story. Nothing. I read the Wikipedia about it. In the movie, he's a pilot, whatever. None of that took place.
Right.
And actually turns out this supposed con man, conned everybody about this story,
Yes.
So he never flew and any of that stuff. So yes, so back to the true story things. If it was true story, it doesn't have to be,
Right, exactly. And the other thing that the Coen brothers had going for them in 1996, there was no Google.
You can verify
there were probably a couple search engines, but people,
you would have to just take a face value.
Yeah, people just took films and what they said at face value. So most people didn't have internet at their home until later 90s. I'm not saying people didn't have internet in 1996.
How would you know, though? Yeah.
But search engines were very rudimentary. Google basically transformed the landscape when it came to search engines. But it's very interesting that they put that in there, and then it caused years of of questioning and controversy.
Okay, interesting, yeah. And as much as, again, it's not a movie I necessarily enjoy watching because it's so bleak, so miserable, so depressing, right? There's some things, and I kind of want to just list them off and get your thoughts if you agree whether those are the best things that I think make this movie quite unique in Coen movies. So the best thing, and I was like, what is so unique? Why do I like this scene and this scene? I think it has some of the best side actors and extras in any movie, okay? The scene where that random cop goes to the random guy's house who's plowing his snow or something like that.
Yes.
Oh my God, I love it. It's so realistic that these people seem like they're having a real conversation, and it's so unique. Margie interviewing those two ladies at the bar, Again.
Yeah, so here's a fun fact about that real quick. So prostitute number 1 and prostitute number 2 is their official name.
The credit,
The whole movie takes place in Minnesota, and the whole movie is spoken in this very exaggerated version of what's called Minnesota Nice. That's an accent. So, the heck you mean, and yeah, and all that was trained by one of the dialect coaches, which is played by, so prostitute number 2 was the dialect coach for the entire movie.
Yeah.
And so she got to play a part, and because she was an expert in that dialect.
Yeah, I think it's so fun. I think you have too many, in newer movies, any actor is like someone who's pursuing it actively, right? Lives in LA. Over there, I bet you that guy who's plowing snow was just some random,
I'd have to look into that a little bit.
My favorite character on my favorite scenes is, I think, Sepp. The guy who connects Jerry with Steve Buscemi, the auto shop guy.
Oh yeah, Shep
yes,
Proudfoot. Yes.
So first of all, he's so cool, and then that scene where he beats up Steve Buscemi. That guy's built like a golem, he beats this random guy up in the hallway. So good. That scene is just it's That's when I find it's a comedy. It's kind of funny, you know. Everything's just coming together. Every plan they ever had is screwed, you know. So that scene. So the extras and side characters are super unique and fit really well in the world.
I do love the fact that Steve Buscemi, who's really, he seems like the only one that's somewhat competent in this whole thing. But things just get worse and worse for him.
Yeah, he's always in a hole. He should have taken the truck. 3 times, just take the truck, man. What do you? That car's not good anyway. You're gonna get pulled over, you know.
I know. So this man has $1 million sitting in the snow, which actually perfectly encapsulates the theme of greed in this movie. Because even to the end, where he could have just been like, take the fucking car, you know. Like he doesn't, because he wants as much as he can get out of this, right?
Can I interject for greed real quick? This is a real life story. You know what's been happening with Topo Chico?
What?
You don't know?
No.
So the Topo Chico wells, Topo Chico is a very, very kind of uprising and popular carbonated water that you can get in the United States. And they have been doing some construction on their wells. So basically there's no new Topo Chico being made. So right now, greed, Topo Chico, 1 bottle I saw the other day for $50 on eBay. Because they don't make it anymore. They say until July or August, you can't get your hand on Topo Chico.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Unless...
Again, we're not sponsored by Topo Chico.
No, we're not,
either.
but... When you have to pull some strings, you know, but we happen to be able to enjoy the last Topo Chicos.
Well, this is a $50 bottle of Topo Chico, apparently, as of this filming.
Yes, and thank you for sponsoring this by my father-in-law, who had 2 of these in his pantry.
But
you're not going to have this for at least 4 months.
4 months, okay. So. Well, I'm glad you had that. Here you go.
Yeah, thank you. Very nice. Salute.
Salute. Oh man, that's bubbly.
It's so bubbly.
So
I like it.
Back to the story. The thing that I really love about this movie is the cinematography.
Yeah.
I mean, the cinematography is Roger Deakins, who is a longtime collaborator with the Coen brothers.
Anything else?
But this man has made so many movies.
Okay.
You just got to look it up. We don't have time to list them all, but he has 16 Academy Award nominations and then 2 wins. But do you want to know what his first win was?
I don't know. I don't know any movies off the top of my head.
Okay, that's fine. So again, this man has been the cinematographer for movies since like the 70s. And it wasn't until Blade Runner 2049 that he finally won his first Oscar.
The new one, yeah?
Okay, the newest one.
Wow, okay.
And then his second one was shortly after for 1917.
Oh, so amazing.
Yeah. And so Roger Deakins is well known to the point where actors will take on a movie or a role if they hear that Roger Deakins is part of it. And he's also well known just for his landscapes, which is one of the things that really sticks out about Fargo.
Sells this movie, I agree.
It's this really haunting yet beautiful landscape in you know, the deep north. We're talking about Minnesota, parts of North Dakota, where it's just white. You know, that white landscape is just so prominent in the film. And, you know, Roger Deakins does this beautiful job of just letting the landscape be part of the story, be a character itself. And then, of course, the way he frames his characters within this landscape.
And the weather. I think the weather is actually such an important... It informs so many things. The story's driven by it. You know, it's super cold everywhere. Everyone wants to get warm really quick, you know. And they also in these big puffer coats, you know. It's nice to see an environment kind of influence your story. And I wanted to say, regarding shots and cinematography, my favorite visual shot is when Gaia is chasing the 2 guys I saw him on the road, and you see that car in the distance, just the 2 headlights or brake lights, taillights, and you see, oh my god, that the music's haunting there, and then it's subtle, right? You actually nothing changes in the framing, the car just goes off the road, right? And you see Gaia like he's looking. Oh man, I love this scene. Very nice.
So this was towards the end of Act 1. Towards the beginning of Act 2, where we finally meet Margie, our protagonist, who's played by the legendary Frances McDormand. Dorman. Again, 4 Academy Award winning actress, producer, director, etc. She is a cop in the movie, and she goes and investigates the crime scene. You know, Gare and Karl have killed a cop and then 2 innocent bystanders. And it's that image right on the poster of the film, you know, that you see with the guy in the red coat.
Oh, yes.
So it's like a bright red coat that he's wearing, the victim, just up against the blankness of the snow. And it's such a powerful yet simple image. But that's just the power of good cinematography, you know.
It feels very artistic, but for the masses. Like, I feel like it's a movie that's very digestible and everybody can have a good time with it. But yet it's thoughtful and deep. And there's so many messages in it. However, still remain, I hated watching it. Every minute, I'm like, oh God, something happens, you know, and the wife gets kidnapped. And again, you could, as you told me before, it can be seen as a comedy, you know, but then there's so many miserable and horrible things that happen out of that, right? Because so many ridiculous things happen, you know. The plot's getting so out of hand, you know. Jerry's dad getting killed and Jerry putting him in his trunk. Like, what are you gonna do? What's the plan here, you know? What's your end game here, you know?
And that just goes to show how well the Coens write incompetent characters. He's
incompetent.
Because there's certain movies where you're like, this is clearly a plot hole, right? That nobody would act this way. No, the way he's written is just that this guy would definitely act this way because he is incompetent. He's just an idiot.
The guy asked him, how's your son going to be, Scotty? He's like, Scotty. Like he had an entire equation not thought about this. Or the fact that he's letting 2 hired killers abduct his wife and drive, like, as far as the wife situation, you know, like every part of the story got a little worse, right? They had to kill the cop and so on. But like the wife itself probably would have gotten killed anyway because no outside influence made that any more challenging, more or less, except for the cop, perhaps, you know?
Yeah, again, Jerry did not really think this through. No. He trusted Shep's advice, and Shep only vouched for Gare. He didn't vouch for Karl.
I thought it was the other way around.
No.
Really?
Gare was his friend, and Karl was the random.
You don't think Gare was more professional than Karl? Do you think Karl knew more? Because Gare was so stone cold and calculated, right? So you could argue that Karl was so emotional and erratic.
Yes, no.
That got him into more trouble.
I mean, we find this out pretty early in that drive that they're doing, and Karl's like, I'm doing all the talking here. Okay, fine. Let's see how you like it. I'll be silent, totally silent. He just keeps going. And Gary's just like, this mother.
He's a professional. You could say,
he's a professional.
He likes pancakes.
I think he's a stone cold killer. Yeah,
I think so too. I think he was the wrong guy for the job too. Like he is like, again, when Karl kills someone, it's emotional and irrational. Like Gare killed the cop and 2 guys on the highway, right? That was more of, okay, I have to do this, right, to get out of this pickle.
Yeah, Gare is just a stone cold killer, and Karl is just too erratic, too unprofessional. Yeah, but it's funny that he takes care of most of the job. Like,
Karl does,
Karl
Gare's just kind of chilling in the background.
So I'm not really sure why Gare's there, other than just to watch the wife, I guess.
Yeah.
So I guess you do need a partner.
I see, for the drop off.
Yeah. Now you mentioned the music earlier as Gare's chasing down. Now the music in this movie is by Carter Burwell, who also does many collaborations with the Coens. Okay. So the song that we hear the most is called Fargo, North Dakota. And it's got kind of got this Western feel, but at the same time, it kind of mixes like a little Northern, you hear the little jingles in there, and it's very like epic and very kind of haunting music. It's really beautiful. It's really unfortunate that Carter Burwell has never won an Academy Award.
Oh, really?
So he has 3 nominations. He did also compose the Twilight series. Did you know that?
As in, oh, really?
Yeah,
okay. Dun.
Team Jacob, Team...
Oh, that one. I thought you mean the actual... Oh, Twilight Zone, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no. Twilight, the movie, the vampire movie.
Which I enjoyed the first one off, to be guilty,
It's not a bad movie.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's enjoyable.
Later they get pretty bad.
But yeah, he's composed many tracks. But this is probably one of his most famous ones.
Great soundtrack.
But again, didn't win the Oscar, so... It is what it is. The Oscars is a tough nugget to crack.
In closing, I would say that I think it's an extremely competently made movie. It sounds beautiful. It's shot beautiful. It's acted. Every single person who's in it is acting well. It's a great plot. I hate watching it. It's a story about misery and death and greed, and so many scenes that just make your skin crawl. But then that's because you're invested in those characters and you're invested into what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good things about it, so many bloody things about it. I mean, there's a lot of blood. Like, it is weird. I think he could have just, like, I don't know, dumped the body.
Yeah, he's already in the hole.
Gare made a giant mess of Karl. But yeah, no, it's a great movie. Like you said, extremely competently made. I mean, that's like, we're underselling it by saying that. Like the Coen brothers, I mean, the cinematography, the music, the acting, I mean, everything. Like you said, the side characters, everything was just like top notch.
I think
running on all cylinders, right?
Nothing in this movie where I say, from an objective standpoint, anything bad.
Yeah.
I can't, nothing, no plot holes, nothing unrealistic, no characters I don't like. I would give this movie, from a personal standpoint, I would give it a 8.5 ice scratches out of 10.
Okay, I'll give it 9.5 legs and a wood chipper out of 10. So
very high for you. Okay,
yeah,
it's a reference for you.
Yeah, this is a banner movie.
Really? Okay. Yes. I can see it. I don't feel like that personally, just because it's not pleasurable to watch for me. You know, it doesn't pick me up necessarily. It doesn't put me in a good mood.
I see.
However, it's done very, very well, and I can respect that. And I also, even though so many things bothered me in the movie, to see and watch unfold, I still had a great time. And it's just a piece of art. Nothing you can say.
Well, as always, I enjoyed talking with you about
Goose.
this. So, if you like this episode, please like and subscribe below, and we are definitely going to be making more.
Yeah, yes, sir. See you guys. Thank you.
See you next time.